All right, everybody, we have been working on elapsed time. Today is going to be our assessment day for elapsed time. We're going to take a look at some review videos and have some review discussions, and then I'm going to let y'all get to your little quiz, okay? No, I'm not. That's a lie. We're going to go over DMR. Look at me, getting ahead of myself, going crazy. Okay, so we are going to do that, but we're going to do that later because right now we're going to go over DMR, okay? All right, so DMR, as you know, this week we are focusing on problem solving, word problems. I told you that it is a very good idea to have a notebook or a piece of paper handy so that you can draw your strategies, so that you can make pictures, so that you can write out your numbers, solve your problems, because these are not going to be problems that can be shared or that can be solved in your heads, okay? All right, here we go. Read carefully, it says. That means there's probably a trick. Regina is building a fence around her garden as shown below. There's the fence. She measured all sides except for one. There's the one that she didn't measure. She used 40 feet of fencing. So all of this fence equals 40 feet. What is the length of the side Regina did not measure? So if I know that all the way around this garden is equal to 40, then I have to find out what is missing, okay? So I'm going to add up what I do know. I have an 8, and I have a 3 and a 3, which I'm going to combine to equal 6. So far that's 14 feet. Now I'm going to add this 15 feet. 4 plus 5 is 9. 10 plus 10 is 20. Okay, and now I have another 5 feet. That's 14. Okay, so 34 feet is the numbers that we know. We don't know this number. So if I'm at 34 and I have to get to 40, I'm going to count up until I get to 40. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 6. So this missing number has to be 6 feet because I would need to add 6 more to equal 40. 2 steps in this problem: addition and then subtraction, or addition and then addition again. Questions on it? Alrighty then. Let's take a look at our next problem. 3 friends want to equally share 1 hour of time on a computer at the library. What fraction of an hour will each friend have to use the computer? Well, I know that an hour can be on a clock, and a clock is a circle, okay? So if I have 3 friends that are trying to share it, I'm going to divide my circle into thirds. Friend 1 gets this hour. Friend 2 gets this hour. Friend 3 gets this hour. So each friend gets 1 of the 3 pieces, which we would say is 1/3. So D, 1/3 is your correct answer. Questions on that one? John, I'm down here. Look down here. There you go. Hi, John. All right. If 5 times 4 equals 20, then what does 5 times 40 equal? Remember when we talked about this 0? Look at the pattern. 5 times 4 equals 20. So 5 times 40, if I pretend like that 0 isn't there, it's 20. And then if I add that 0 back, it's 200. Okay, this is a pattern. It is equal to 200. Why? Because 5 times 4 we know is equal to 20. So 5 times 40, instead of counting 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, I would count 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. It's the same pattern. So let's look at it here. With our ones place, We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That's 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. With our tens place, we just add a 0. 4D, AD, 120, 160, 200. Okay. So it's just adding in that extra 0 on each answer when it's got a tens place. It's a pattern. All right. Justin, you're going to put me to sleep, kid. Looking too cozy over there. All right, it says find 483 plus 316. Use place value to find the sum. Show your work. This is hoping that you'll use it in your head. Sometimes using it in your head is difficult. That's why I told you to have your notebook. But here's why it's asking you to do it in your head. There is no regrouping on this. Okay? 3 plus 6 is 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. 4 plus 3 is 7. So technically, you should be able to do that one in your head because it's just using single-digit numbers. We know that 3 plus 6 is 9. We know that 8 plus 1 is 9. We know that 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay? Yes, Aiden G.
So when I put 799 miles, it said it was wrong.
You and I already talked about this yesterday, but that was for the next problem, not this problem, because there's no miles in this problem. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at our next one. Brody drove 384 miles on Saturday. After 3 days, he had driven 861 miles. How many miles did Brody drive on Sunday and Monday? Show your work, include regrouping if necessary. Okay, Brody drove 384 miles on Saturday. After 3 days, being Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, see those 3 days? He had driven 861 miles. So we're going to get rid of Saturday to find out what is left. Okay? So we have 861, subtract 384. 1 subtract 4 is impossible, so I've got to regroup. I'm going to borrow a 10. My 10 plus my 1 is 11. 11 subtract 4 is 7. 5 subtract 8 is impossible. I'm going to regroup. I'm going to borrow 10 tens. So I now have 15 tens. Subtract 8 is 7 tens. 700 subtract 300s is 400s. Your correct answer is 477. As Aiden pointed out, the correct answer is actually 477 miles, but Miss Thaxton forgot to put the word miles on the answer key. So we're going to forgive her. We're going to tell her that's okay. We all make mistakes, but we are going to practice continuing to put labels, because if it's asking about a certain label, we got to put that label on there. Otherwise, this purple unicorn's flying through space. Y'all already know. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at 7. Ricky wants to buy 3 movies and 5 video games. Okay, so he wants to buy 3 movies. Here's a movie. Here's a movie. Here's a movie. He wants to buy 5 video games. Here's a video game. 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 Each movie costs $20. So that's going to be $20 plus $20 plus $20, also known as 3 times 20. Each video game costs $30. $30 plus $30 plus $30 plus $30 plus $30, also known as 5 times 30. How much will Ricky spend? Miss Sousa, that's too hard. Nuh-uh. Remember, guys, I told you about this 0. It's a pattern. You know that 3 times 2 is 6. So you know that 3 times 20 is 60. Dun, 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 dun. You know that 5 times 3 is 15. So you know that 5 times 30 is 150. Dun, 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 dun. It's just a pattern of tens, and we know that tens have a 0 in them. Okay? So now we've got to take our movie amount, which is $60, plus our video game amount, which is $150, and we're going to add it up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 5 tens is 11 tens. 100 plus 100 is 200. So Ricky spent $210. Okay. Pattern of tens is what we are focusing on in there. Okie dokie. All right. Now we're going to do our assessment review. Yay. Okay. Elapsed time. Y'all got a quiz, a test on elapsed time. We're going to move on to a new subject tomorrow. Okay, so this is going to be a graded test today. We're going to take a few minutes to review. Justin is going to wake up. Hi, there's your eyes. So that he's ready for our quiz. Okay? All righty, here we go.
Yo, my name's Miyachi, I got something on my mind. I have a few questions and they're all about time. It started one day when I was coming home from school. My father wrote me a message so I could make some food. Yum, he wrote the note in detail, telling me the rules. Put lasagna in the oven at 5:30, but don't snooze, and heat it 50 minutes, and then after take it out. But when I put it in, I started thinking about how I need to figure out if I put the lasagna in at 5:30 for 50 minutes, when does it finish? I sat and thought a minute, I really didn't get it, cause 50 plus 30 is 80, but 80 don't fit in. There's only 60 minutes that's inside of 1 hour. We must calculate before the lasagna becomes brown. I thought, oh, I could just use a number line, add the time in 10-minute intervals and I'll be fine. So 5:30, 5:40, then 50, but add another 10 at 6 o'clock, not 60. And then we get 6:10, then 6:20, and now I know what time the lasagna should be ready. Yeah.
I never thought I'd be singing, but now I'm feeling so fine. How much time has gone by? That is the elapsed time. I never thought I'd be singing, but now I'm feeling so fine. How much time has gone by? That is the elapsed time.
I got another problem and it's different than the last time. We gotta solve it by finding out the elapsed time. My friend Kevin, he's got his tuba lesson. It starts at 7:30, he's done by 9:07. So how long did this lesson last? Let's use a number line, break it down and do the math. We start at 7:30, need to get to 9:07. Okay. What's the biggest unit we can use so we can get there? 1 hour. We add 1 hour, 7:30 turns to 8:30. Now we got a little more time to get to 9:07. Add another 30 minutes and we get to 9 o'clock. Now we got an hour, 30 minutes with a little left. Jump another 5 whole minutes. Yeah, it gets us up to 9:05, we aren't finished. Oh no. Add another minute, now it's 9:06. Yeah, one more, it's 9:07, and we did it. Yes, count it up. 1 hour plus 30 minutes plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? 1 hour, 37 minutes equals how much time elapsed into a lesson and Kevin was done.
I never thought I'd be singing, but now I'm feeling so fine. How much time has gone by? That's the elapsed time. I never thought I'd be singing, but now I'm feeling so fine. How much time has gone by? That's the elapsed time.
I'm that lasagna that everybody wants to eat. And Kevin's tuba lessons are so long. I can't believe how much you paid for those 1 hour, 37-minute tuba lessons, Kevin. You know, other instruments are way more portable and more appropriate for a little kid your size. Crazy, Kevin. Take it from
All right. You've just seen a quick review of timelines. I want you to go into a breakout room and tell your partner, how can you use a timeline to solve elapsed time problems? Okay. I'm going to show you again on the screen. This is what they look like, remember? Okay. How can you use a timeline to solve elapsed time problems? Go tell your partner. Sir? Would you please tell us how we can use a timeline to solve elapsed time problems?
Okay, so if I had baseball practice at 5:40 and it ended at 6:50, 5:40 would be the beginning time, and then the end time would be 6:50. So to get to 6:50, first I could jump a 10, which would be 10 minutes. And then you can use a timeline, or a timeline to get to the next. It's a different strategy. So I would use 10 minutes, and then I would get to 5:50. So I would have 1 more hour left. And then I could jump 20 minutes, which would put me at 6:10. And then to get there, I could jump 40 minutes to get to 6:50. Hang on.
All right, William. So I'm going to go ahead and log off, and I'm going to let you be in charge of the class today. So you're going to teach elapsed time. All right? You good?
Nope.
You sure? Why not?
Here.
I think you got it, sir. All right. So William, help me out. Why did you go to 5:50 first? Why did you get to that 10-minute jump?
Because that was the starting time.
And so you matched it up with the end time. You heard 50 minutes. And if I'm at 40 and I get to 50, then I only have to deal with hours from there.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you. Fantastic. All right. Today on your quiz, you are going to be able to choose the strategy that you would like to use. Okay. We've reviewed 3 strategies. We've looked at using a physical clock and moving the minute and hour hands and counting. We've looked at using the number line that you just reviewed, and we've looked at using a T-chart. You get to choose the strategy that makes the most sense for you, okay? We're gonna watch a brain pop that quickly goes over each of these strategies, and after each strategy is explained, you are going to go explain that strategy to your partner, okay? So again, using the physical clock, using a number line, using a T-chart. Just like multiplication and division, there's lots of different pictures you can draw to solve it. You're going to choose the one that works the best for you today. Okay? So let's watch this. Be ready to explain the strategy to your partner. My screen's not moving. Can you guys see that? Here we go. Weird.
I'm excited about our field trip, Moby. How long does the bus take to get to the Hall of Science? What is elapsed time? Elapsed time is the amount of time that passes between one point in time to another. Elapsed time can tell us how long it takes to get somewhere, or how long something lasts. Knowing elapsed time can help us make plans and be on time. You can measure elapsed time by using a stopwatch. How long can you stand on one leg, Moby? The stopwatch counts up seconds, minutes, and even hours. Wow, you can stand on one leg for a long time, Moby. Moby, I think it's time to go now. You stood on one leg for 10 hours, 25 minutes, and 48 seconds. How can you use a clock to figure out elapsed time? The bus leaves at 9:40 and arrives at the Hall of Science at 10 o'clock. How long is the bus ride? You can use a clock to figure it out. Start at 9:40 and then count up by fives until you get to 10 o'clock. 5, 10, 15, 20. The bus takes 20 minutes to get to the Hall of Science. Cool! There's an electricity show at 10:30. What time is it now? It's 10:08. How much time do we have until the show? I can count up 2 minutes to get to 10:10. That's an easier time to work with. Now I can count up by fives until 10:30. 5, 10, 15, 20. Now add the minutes. 20 plus 2 is equal to 22. The electricity show is in 22 minutes.
All right. I'm going to send you into a breakout room. I want you to explain that strategy to a partner. How can you use a clock to track the elapsed time? Okay. How can you use a clock? Go. All right, Aiden G, tell us, how do you use a clock to count the elapsed time?
So you use the clock by using the minute hand and the hour hand. As it goes around the clock, the minute hand goes faster than the hour hand because it counts the minutes and it doesn't skip time. Like if it is 1 o'clock, it can't just go all the way to 11 o'clock.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for using that math vocabulary too. I heard minute hand, I heard hour hand.
Hour hand's a little slower than.
We had a delay. And it's going to move around and find or match up with that new time. Wonderful. Okay, we are getting ready to look at the strategy of using a chart. Okay, so be ready to explain. How can you use a chart to figure out elapsed time? Here we go.
Chart to figure out elapsed time. The insect exhibit opens at 1:45. What time is it now? Let's see. It's 11:15. How much time do we have? You can make a chart to figure it out. You start at 11:15 and you count on 1 hour to get to 12:15. Then you count on another hour to get to 1:15. Then you count on 30 minutes to get to 1:45. Now add up all the hours and minutes. The exhibit opens in 2 hours and 30 minutes. How can you use a number line to figure out elapsed time? Look,
All right, let's go explain that T-chart strategy to your partner. How can you use a chart to find elapsed time? What are things that you write on the chart? How does it help you? Go explain. How can you use a T-chart to find the elapsed time? How can you use a T-chart to find the elapsed time? Who would like to explain that one for us? What can we do? Terrence, go for it. How can we use a T-chart to explain the elapsed time?
So basically, I don't have an example like William, but I could use mine. So
I love your words. Go for it.
a T-chart, we could use a T-chart to explain elapsed time or do elapsed time by doing like a scale and going up the scale.
So our minutes are going to go up, and when that scale, you're talking about the chart there. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So counting up those minutes or those hours. If we're given the time, we're going to list the times. If we're given the amount of elapsed time, we're going to count the minutes and the hours there. Wonderful. All right. Our last one, number line, you guys have already talked about it. Let's review it again, and then we will talk about your quiz.
Look, there's a planetarium show. It begins at 11:50, and it's 35 minutes long. What time will it end? You start at 11:50 and count on 35 minutes. Let's see. I can count up 10 minutes to get to 12 o'clock. Then I can count on another 10 to get to 12:10, and another 10 to get to 12:20. I've counted up 30 minutes so far, but the show is 35 minutes long. So I need to count up another 5 minutes to get to 12:25. The show will end at 12:25. Shh. Cool, we can design our own robots. How long is the workshop? I can start at 1:10 and count up an hour to get to 2:10. Then I can count up 10 minutes to get to 2:20 and count another 10 minutes to get to 2:30. The Design a Robot workshop is 1 hour and 20 minutes long. What kind of robot are you making, Moby? That was a fun trip to the Hall of Science. Moby? Moby? Ah!
No evil Annie taking over the world. All right, kiddos. Let's go ahead and talk about your quiz. Go ahead and click on that activities light bulb to refresh your feed on Seesaw. You will see an assignment called Elapsed Time Assessment. Okay, Elapsed Time Assessment. I want you to go ahead and click on Add Response. All right. Your goal over the last few weeks has been to tell how much time has elapsed in minute intervals and to solve real-world problems involving addition and subtraction of time in intervals and minutes, okay? You are going to be able to choose your strategy. On each of your work slides, you will see a clock link, a timeline, and a T-chart, okay? If you choose the clock link, then you're going to go to the clock and you're going to take a screenshot of that clock and turn in your answer like that. Okay, so if I were choosing this, then I would put my screenshot picture and I would label my time. Okay, if you are choosing the timeline, you can drag your timeline and make it larger so that you can work on it. If you are choosing the T-chart, you can make it large enough so that you can write in it, okay? On each slide, you have all three strategies access, okay? There's a question and there's a workspace. Again, if you choose the clock, you're going to put your screenshots of your start and stop times. If you choose a timeline, you're going to drag the timeline so that it's big enough for you to write on. If you choose the T-chart, then you are going to drag your T-chart and make it large enough for you to write on. Okay? So you can choose any strategy that works best for you for all of these problems. All right. What questions can I answer about your quiz? Okay. Before I let you go, if you click on View Instructions, this slide has a review of everything we have done for elapsed time. So if you forget how to use the tool, you've got a video to tell you. If you forget how to use the timeline, you've got a video to tell you. If you forget how to use the T-chart, you've got a video to tell you. The vocabulary and brain pop we watched are also there, okay? So choose one strategy, just one. You don't have to do all three. Choose the one that works best for you, put it in the workspace, and solve the problem, okay? All right, y'all, that is your work.